Good afternoon. Today I'll be doing a basic tutorial on MCS Newton. So I'll walk you through all the steps you need, and I'll try and be as short and concise as possible. So I'm just picking a dummy school. I picked one at random just for demonstration purposes. So when you log into Newton, you probably will see this on the main computer at a school. So we'll call this the main computer at this point. So when you log in, you'll see this screen, and you'll have to start an operating day. Let's start one for the 5th. And if you log in, look at the bottom left. It will tell you if there's an operating day open. And if it is open, I would go into review transactions and see if there are any batches, and then post that day before moving on to the next day. But so to start a day, just start the operating day and then start a meal. And then hit main machine. Unless you're using the main machine in the back office and you have 2 serving lines in the front, then you, at this point, you would go to the secondary computers and click on Newton POS, and it'll do the same thing. It'll look like an icon that looks like this, and then it'll do this whole thing. But you have to make sure that you have started operating day and started a meal for the POS to even connect to the main machine. And then you just choose a serving line. And then here you'll just press OK. And here is your POS. Here's where all your students are, your adults. If your student isn't in there, send your IT guy an email or tell him to update his SIS file that's connected to our server, which we update all the student files on. So we're just gonna give a few kids a meal. You know, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, but a kid will walk through a line. You give him a meal, and you just hit OK, and then you're gonna hit OK here, and you're just gonna hit OK. Some schools are set where if you click, like this school is set where if you click on a kid, it will automatically go into their meal. Let's see. And if you don't want your school to be set up this way, then you can just send me a text message or send me an email. My email is ccao@thsfc.com. You can use this, ccao@thsfc.com. And you can just pause the video at this point. Now say you accidentally gave a kid a wrong meal, or you gave the wrong kid a meal when you meant to give the kid on top. You just go down to review transaction, and then you double click the student that you're trying to get rid of a meal for, and then just void, and then hit OK. Now some schools are also set where it has it doesn't skip the auto sale. So say no, every school will have the skip auto sale. Sorry about that. So we're just going to keep giving kids meals. I might have broken the program a little bit. So don't worry, your school should not be acting like this. I was pressing a few too many buttons, but we're back to normal now. Breakfast meal, okay, so this is an adult. If you look up here under status, there's a 5, which means that you're it's an adult. So 5 is an adult, 3 is free, and I believe 2 is reduced and 1 is paid. I'm not going to give this person a meal just because I'll be posting later. And say, you know, your school has kids come in by grade. You can go down here at the bottom right and key help and hit alternate and then hit group search. You can also just press Alt F2, but I find doing this is better because usually I'll forget what key combination it is. And you can sort by grade. So now I have all the 7th graders. And then to get out of the filter, you just go back, key help, alternate, group search, no filter. So we're going to close for the day. And most schools will not collect cash from students, so you should be good here. Now this screen. So say you had lunch and the internet ran out, or the power of the laptop went out, and the batch didn't send. What you're gonna do to make sure that the batch sends is you're just gonna, you know, start that operating day on the main machine, start a meal, go into whichever computer that you turned off, and go all the way into a meal, and then exit to this screen, and then hit send archived batches, and then you're gonna have that archived batch. You're gonna have that batch on your computer, and you just double click that, and then it resends it. And then I'm gonna exit the point of sale, and I'm gonna stop that meal. Say that this is the main computer, and then there's 2 serving lines. Make sure you stop the serving lines first before you stop the meal on the main computer. And then I'm just gonna go into review transactions to show you some more. So it's gonna pop up this message, and that's because I resent that batch, and it's gonna skip it because the batch is already on file. Now, say the power went out, but the batch did send, but then it sent too small of a number. You can't just repeat that process. You would have to remove this batch, right? And then you have to go back in, start a meal. So we're just going through the process again. This is how you send a batch that if the computer turned off, or it just lost connection to the Wi-Fi or something. You'd go into the main machine. Basically, you're just starting the meal over on the serving line. You have to go all the way in and then quit, and then boom, send your archived batch. And then exit, stop the meal, and it'll say there's a batch waiting to be retrieved, and 1 batch was retrieved, the breakfast. And then you just start a meal for lunch. We're just going through it again. 9 minutes in. Okay. Let's try to be under 15 minutes if possible. And I'm just doing the same thing for lunch, honestly. And you can just go in. This is okay. So for this kid, this doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you're charging the kid. That just means that he has a negative balance, right? So even if you give that kid a meal, it's not charging him. I know a few schools would hit me up and tell me that their kids are being charged when they're not. They just have a balance. And usually a kid will have a balance because, say you give a kid a meal and then you give him for the meal again, and then you hit lunch, and it will be an at-cost meal. right? Um, and then charge. It will be charged to his account. Sorry. It will be charged to his account, and you'll see that he has a new balance. And I'll talk about that later. And just say, let's just quit. You just quit, hit OK, exit point of sale, stop the meal, and there you go. You have your 2 batches for breakfast and lunch, and you're ready to post the day. You know, you can just hit no cash was collected. This is the first step. Go into daily figures and hit reviewed, and there you go. You can put your snacks and your suppers if you have it here, and hit OK. Now say you posted the day, and then let's see, why did that happen? Okay, 1 second. Let me switch my settings. So notice how I quit Newton without finishing the operating day or anything. But also, here's important: when you're logging in and you're getting that connection from existing hosts is forcibly removed or disconnected, in your login screen, hit on Advanced and make sure that this connection method is SQL Server. And if you're on the KIP server, it will be fs.kipneworleans.org. The THSFC server is fs.thsfc.com, and the South Carolina server is sc.thsfc.com. And I believe we're picking up some other places, but it should already be set up. This is just in case you need to do some troubleshooting or anything. So we're going to connect back in. And since I'm on my own computer and not at a cafeteria, it won't be connected to a cafeteria right here. So I have to go into that cafeteria. But for you, it will just show up like this. And you'll see that I have a prior day. And if you ever get the message that says Newton unexpectedly was shut off and it needs to repair the cafeteria, just hit yes. And then it will just auto repair for you. And say, you gave a kid a meal that you didn't want, you can just go in here too. Review transactions, go into the batch, and you see how you can sort by reimbursable meal right here, and you'll see that the kid that I give an at-cost meal to is here, and you can sort by that way, so you can remove that at-cost meal. And hit OK. Now close, and we're gonna post the operating day, and we're gonna hit no cash was collected, reviewed. Say you forget that, it will tell you you have not marked the daily figures, which is right here, and you have to mark it as reviewed. For some schools that you have 2 or 3 schools in one where they're all serving it, you're gonna have to go in here and it'll have both schools there, and you've got to hit reviewed for both or all 3. Say we forgot this and we just did that, it'll tell you that no cash receipts entered. So those are the 2 things you have to do before you can even post. Now say you're at a school that has breakfast, has lunch, and then the kids go off and then they come back for daycare and they have supper, but you've already posted the day. Or if you ever need to make changes, you can just reopen the past day. It's always, even if you're not done with the day and you have like rosters that you have to input or something, it's always best to post the day before you turn off your machine. If you don't, it causes issues when you reopen it, and more issues down the line. So if you're waiting to input rosters or something, it's always best to post it and then come back to it. We're just gonna go in. We needed to add some snacks. And then we're good. From here, you've finished your day. If you need to run some reports, you can. Let's aim for under 20 minutes. Posting a report, and any of these if you ever need. The most important one is like at-cost meals. If you have too many, then you have to go back in and remove them. But let me just run the line details. And you'll just have all these. I believe 3 is actually paid. Yeah, 3 is paid, 1 is free, 2 is reduced. The only reason why this school is 3 is they're all CEP, so the 3 doesn't matter. It's just the meal cost for that specific category is 0. So we're just gonna go back in. I'm just gonna go in and make some changes. Or actually, before I make the changes, I'm gonna show you how to run reports as a food service management company. Or if you need it for your claim or anything like that, you just go to reports and letters, sales and revenue, recap and reconciliation. And you can put your options like bank deposit, supper, whatever you're trying to run. And there you go, 11 breakfasts and 7 lunches and the 200 snacks. Now, since that isn't an actual day, I'm just gonna go back in and I'm going to remove this batch because those don't exist. Now, say you just remove the batches and then you like cancel and abandon the day. It's not going to save your changes. You have to remove the batches and then you have to post the operating day. And you can't, if there's like snack is 200, you can't just delete it and then post. You have to put a 0 in. If it's left blank, it's just gonna default back to that 200 or whichever number you used. And we're just about done. You're still going to see the day here, but if you ran a recap, it should not show up anymore. Yeah, it won't show up anymore. Here are a few other things that you can run as a school. If you need student rosters, you can put your customer categories. You can sort by ID number, name, or grade. I'll just sort by grade. 6th grade, and then all the way down to 8th grade. And that is it. There should be more tutorials. I know this is going to be the main one, the shortest one, and then there's one where I actually did a training at a school. You should also check that one out. It's a supplement to this one. I did a live training and I recorded it, and there were questions asked that you might have. And overall, all the videos will probably be about an hour and a half total for training, and you'll be a master of Newton. If you ever need help, you can always text me your TeamViewer information. So when you text me, I would need your ID and your password. If it's easier, you can send a picture, or you can just send the numbers. It doesn't really matter, but you'll always have to send me the main machine first, because without the main machine, all the other computers will not connect, and I won't be able to fix the problem. and you have to make sure that you keep TeamViewer on. And I know there are times where you have it on and maybe your internet is a little buggy and it like disconnects and connects again, and I tell you, oh, I can't connect, can you restart TeamViewer? All you have to do is turn off TeamViewer and start it again, and it will populate a new password. If I ask you for that, I don't need your ID again, I just need your password. And then I can connect in and troubleshoot for you. Have a great day. Hope this helps.